Oh boy, what a way to start the show. What a way to get it going today, my man Cletus is in the house. Good morning to you. We are live again at Champion Chevrolet. Why are we a champion? It is not Thursday, but it's a special day. At least it is for me. And I'm very proud of the fact that we are sitting on show number 600, the 600th show of the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And so we're very proud of that, and we want to thank the Lord Jesus for it. He runs this show, and we have our fingers in the belt loops, and away we go. And so as a result of that, we're here, and show number 600 about to unfold here. Very excited about that. Got some folks who have been very instrumental down through the 600 shows of being a part of the success here. One of those, our dear friend Drew Bedard from Bristol Motor Speedway, is going to join us coming up here in a few minutes. Mike Hedrick, NASCAR fan reporter, has been around on this show for, I don't know, he'll tell you, I can't remember. I don't know what it did an hour ago, seems like, but it would be at least, I would think, a year since Mike started doing the show here. He's been very, very effective, and I've watched him grow as a what would you call himself? I guess a broadcast journalist. So we will have him on coming up in just a few minutes, talking about NASCAR. Big weekend. The boy Rowdy got it. Kyle Busch moves on into Dover now with a big W, and three more guys punched their ticket along with Kyle Busch. Two others in on points for the next round of the chase for the championship. Steve McCauley joins us coming up from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He'll be by in a little while. Also, the Gator Man, one of our original sponsors. In fact, everybody's with us is our original sponsors, and we are very thankful for that. Getting ready to add on two more the first of the month, which we're excited about that as well. And so we're inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet. Nobody sells more Chevys across the state from Memphis to Mountain City to Memphis than right here at Champion Chevrolet with Pig and Jay and Lloyd and all these folks and Kristen do a wonderful job, and Cletus. So we'll be here again throughout today's show. Going to be here on Thursday, going to be on Friday. So it's a 3-day week at Champion Chevrolet. So the obvious is the National Football League. And so our boy Mike Tomlin tells the guy not to go out. I got a story here where he has come back out and has taken a swipe at Alejandro Villanueva, I should say, as the offensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So here's what we're going to do on this show from here on out. We're going to give you the scores, and that's it. We will. In fact, I'm going to give you the scores. I'm so disgusted as an American with the National Football League. Here's the quote of the day. You're going to get me rolling here right out of the chute. Here's the quote of the day. It comes from Mike Tomlin. Now listen to what the man says. He says, "We're not politicians. We're coaches and professional athletes." Exactly right. When I flip on to watch a football game, I don't need social issues. When I flip on to watch an award show, which was, and I can't remember the one that was on a couple of weeks ago. I don't watch award shows for that very reason. But they were using it as a social issue platform. I don't want that. When you flip onto this show, I'm not really into social issues. I'm going to read what I put on my Facebook page about this, and I'm going to move on. But from here on in, you will not hear. Well, I'll take that back. I will give the Dallas Cowboys scores, and I will give the scores for the teams. I'll go back and research it. The ones that are supporting the decision to make them all come out there and put their hands over their heart and salute the flag. And at this point, the only one that I know of for sure is Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. Now, if you know of another team that has said you will come out there as an employee of my organization and show the proper respect to the flag, let me know. Only one I know of right now is the Cowboys. So anyway, here's what I put on my Facebook page, the Tom Taylor Facebook page. So here's what I've got, and then we're going to move on here. So it goes as follows. This is my take on what's going on. How do you look in the eyes of the loved ones who had a loved one who did not come back from a war and tell them, I'm not standing for what they fought for and defended and ultimately died for, which is this country and the folks who live in it? Or for those who did come back but suffered injuries that won't allow them to live the life the way they did or they could before they went. And they too went and defended this great country and the folks who live in it. They protected you and I, so we have the freedoms we have today. Tom Taylor says, we owe both sets of folks that I mentioned, the ones who passed away and the ones who came back hurt, and guess all veterans for that matter. We owe both sets of folks I mentioned a tremendous debt of gratitude for their service to this country, and they don't deserve us not standing, if for no other reason to simply do it out of respect for them, because they deserve it and they earn it. That's my take, and that's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. So anyway, Steelers, again, Mike Tomlin, the coach, Like I said, I was looking for 100% participation. We're going to be respectful of our football team. So he was more upset because the guy went out there and violated the team rules, and team rules where they were all going to go out in 100% participation. Now, some of the folks said, yeah, but did you see them? They were standing in the tunnel. Okay, that's a little gutless. Why would you stand in the tunnel? Because you aren't man enough to go out and sometimes you got to take the hit, and sometimes you got to stand up for what you believe in. And standing in the tunnel with your hand over your heart, nah, that ain't getting it done. So the interesting part about this is, let's stand back and see how many folks stopped going to the football games. I mean, the Facebook was full of folks that said, I'm done with the NFL. I'll be one of them. I don't know, probably one of the biggest Raiders fans out there. Never watched a game. I didn't know till this morning if they won or lost. Don't care. I'm going to move on. So anyway, we'll see how the American people respond to this by not clicking the turnstiles. But if the Facebook is any indication, what I've read over the weekend, in particular yesterday and last night, the response to, or the lack of response by what would appear to be the general fan base of the National Football League in this country, then they're in trouble, because there were some aerial shots and pictures of some of the stadiums yesterday that were woefully not filled up. So anyway, that's what's going on. We'll run down at this point for me on this show until things change, and I don't see them changing. I see it unraveling even more. I'll give the winners of the NFL, and that's it. I'm going to give scores. Here's who won yesterday. Boom, 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 and move on. With the exception of the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, I'll give their score and talk about them as a team, because their owner said, as an employee of this football team, you are going to stand. So now, I don't know if that's going to result in a backlash for some of the players. We'll see. But anyway, we're here, and there's lots more positive going on. We got a big weekend of college football behind us, big weekend coming up. We got a man down in Knoxville that's probably coaching for his job, I would think, at this point, given the fact that their turnout for the UMass game was, their productivity on the field was pitiful at best, and that's probably doing it mildly. Talked to some folks who were down there, said it was probably the highlight of the day was the Oak Ridge and Elizabethton bands, were the highlight of the football game. So I think old Butch is probably coaching for his life, and so that we got that to talk about. High school football, the baseball season, final week of the regular season, all that coming up. Very positive. So NFL, I'm going to name the winners, and that's it. I may not even do that after today, but when Mike Tomlin comes out and calls out a young man who had served 3 tours in Afghanistan, decided to stand his ground instead of placing his hand over his heart while the anthem, decided to stand his ground and place his hand over his heart while the anthem played, and the coach calls him out for doing it. Nah, not this chick. So anyway, I read what I told you, what I think about the whole kit and caboodle. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. We'll be joined by our first guest on our 600th show. Drew Bedard from Bristol Motor Speedway is going to join us. And then the Gator Man's in the house. You got a quiz show? Oh, baby, he's got a quiz show. Maybe not. He's searching his pockets. Maybe not. Steve McCauley's going to be a little bit later on, so I'm very humbled and very honored. By the way, we always dedicate this show to the man who hung on the cross, the Lord Jesus, and we unashamedly do that. And so here is the verse of the day to get us started out of the book of Isaiah. I have carried you since your birth. I will continue to be with you and sustain you even when you have gray hairs. I will always carry you. I'll always sustain you. I'll always rescue you. Keep your mind focused on me, and I will keep you in perfect peace. There's the verse of the day out of the book of Isaiah. Quick break. We'll jump in and visit with Drew Bedard. The Gator Man's in the house. It's show number 600 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
We're back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Let's go to the phone. He's there, our buddy from Bristol Motor Speedway, Drew Bedard. Good morning, sir. How's everything in the land of BMS?
Well, it looks like a beautiful East Tennessee morning outside my window, but everything's good over here. Everything's good. A lot of things moving in the direction for 2019, but we're working on a lot of fun kind of year-end, 2017 items like Speedway and Lights and some other things. So all is well.
Speedway and Lights right around the corner, of course. The Night of Smiles coming up in less than 60 days now with the night of passing out checks, Speedway Children's Charities. And still got something going this week about Speedway Children's Charities. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's thank you. Yeah, it's great. This is the last week of their fiscal year for our chapter at Speedway Children's Charities, so the Bristol chapter. So it's a great time to give. We're kind of doing the last-ditch efforts to make the fiscal year for Speedway Children's Charities. Of course, all of your donations are tax-deductible. You can call in, but the best thing to do is to go online to the Bristol. Actually, if you go to our website, go to bristolmotorspeedway.com, and if you click on the SCC banner, it's going to take you to our Bristol chapter page where you can click the donate button. And then just make sure, because under the donation form, it actually lets you select from each one of Bruton's tracks that have a chapter. So Bristol's under there, but it's a great time to give. Of course, if you go online or if you go to our YouTube page, you'll find a lot of the great stories that we've collected this year of the grant recipients and where that money goes to help children's organizations in Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee. So it's a great cause. It's a great time to donate. It really helps out the charities, and of course, it helps out our region even more, which is a wonderful thing.
Of course, Speedway Children's Charities, the theme is it's all about the kids. We're talking to Drew Bedard, our buddy from Bristol Motor Speedway. We're live again inside the studio they built for us, inside the showroom here at Champion Chevrolet. On the track yesterday, NASCAR, my man Kyle Busch. Folks don't like to hear me say that, but my man Kyle Busch brought on the checkers. Moves into the round of 12, joining Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, and of course Martin Truex Jr. from last week. So your take on yesterday's racing at New Hampshire, and of course, as we said, Kyle Busch heading on to the next round.
Yeah, interesting storylines across the board there, and I know we have our first 4 locked in for the next round of the playoffs. I got to get used to saying playoffs, though. Sound like Jim Mora, playoffs. The Toyotas have been dominant so far. I think that's been, kind of the first couple of weeks is, the fun little controversy between Keselowski and Kyle Busch last week. But, those guys are strong right now. There's no disputing that. But I think close behind them, you've got some of those Chevrolets, and I think Jimmy Johnson could show up at any point. But you've got Kyle Larson, who's right there. And I really think that Kyle Larson is going to be the single threat against the Toyotas, kind of dominating down the stretch. But, we'll see. I mean, Kyle's just had a great year. Martin's had a great year, and good for them. I think that's great. I think there was there's some other interesting storylines, the wreck in the middle of the race, which was kind of weird and, but took a few good cars out of the race, a few playoff contenders. So I think it's giving you something to watch. I think it's, it's interesting, who's popping up in the top 10, but, we move on to next week and kind of see where it goes, but you can look for, Martin Truex Jr. looks tough to beat right now, the strength of his car. So, but we'll see. But Kyle's right there with him. But again, I think Kyle Larson's that other driver, and coming from the Chevrolet camp, who could jump up. But you also look at Keselowski. He's the other guy locked into the next round right now, and with him kind of a solo mission from the Team Penske camp, with Logano out of the playoffs, you got to think that all the resources are probably getting funneled to that team, and he could make a late charge as well.
We're talking to Drew Bedard on the phone from Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, love having this guy on. The bottom 4 that are in trouble heading off to Dover would be, let's see, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and Casey Kane. These guys are the bottom 4 rather. Of course, they'll cut it down to the field of 12 after this Sunday's race. Drew, the empty seats right now, you look at folks, Danica Patrick, Matt Kenseth, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, these folks not nailed down for 2018. 2 of those are former champions, and so if I'm right in saying this, the seats are becoming more scarce. So what happens going forward, in your humble opinion, of these drivers? Because there's 4 pretty good names right there that don't have a legitimate, definitive ride for next year.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see kind of what the take is from the journalists and people who are talking about it. That is it truly moving in a direction of a youth movement with a lower price tag? That the drivers, but you still have to, what's important to these teams, what's important to the sponsors is winning. So you got to look at that as well. I think when it comes to Danica, I'm one of those pro Danica people. I think she's done wonders for the sport, bringing the youth, bringing women and young girls to the sport. I think it's wonderful what she's done, but she's a brand in itself. So I think, Danica can do just about anything she wants in the future. She's got, whether it's wine or whether it's her clothing line and a lot of different other things. So I think that's an interesting storyline to keep following. But yeah, when you look at some of these guys like Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth, who don't have a ride next year, I think they will have a ride, but it's gonna, it's just gonna be interesting. It's still, it's still an expensive sport for the team owners, and they're having to watch their costs as well. But at the end of the day, I think the team owners and the sponsors are looking for guys that can get in a car, guys and girls who can get in a car and win. And so I think that storyline, I think you watch that play out. It was interesting to see that Furniture Row gave up the charter on the 77 car for Eric Jones, with him moving over to the 20. That I was figuring that Matt Kenseth might move over there, or it might be a Kurt Busch situation there. So it's silly season. This is what NASCAR does every year. It's kind of, but it's what makes it fun. I think the NBA off season was the same way of where's Gordon Hayward going? Where's Kyrie Irving going? It makes it interesting to follow, and so we've got to follow this thing to the end and see where everybody kind of nets out for next year.
Talking to Drew Bedard, let's switch gears and hit another hot topic in sports right now. The final week of the Major League Baseball season coming down the stretch. You've got the wild card. It's pretty wild. You got the Yankees, you got Minnesota, you got the Angels, Kansas City, even Texas in the American League, and the National League, Arizona, and then I guess it's Colorado, Milwaukee, and the Cardinals. Looking at the schedule, The National League Central will be decided this week, of course. Everything will be decided this week. Cubs are in St. Louis. The Reds are in Milwaukee later on this week. So it's all coming down to this final, 5, 6, 7 games. And it's pretty exciting. I'm sure this is what Rob Manfred wanted as the commissioner of Major League Baseball. A lot of excitement heading down to the final days of the regular season.
Yeah, and that's absolutely what you want. It's something compelling, something to watch. And the baseball's been great. Obviously, the home run record shattered this year, and I don't know if that's a different kind of baseball that they're throwing around out there or what, but I think it's making it more fun for the fans that are out there. And yeah, I mean, last few days are going to be compelling, and then I think the playoffs are going to be compelling. My Red Sox, I look for a Final Four of probably Cubs Dodgers. I mean, I don't know how it's going to net out with the seeding, but Cubs Dodgers on one side, on the national side, and then the American League. I look for the Red Sox and Astros to kind of make it there. I always forget that the Astros are in the American League now. I struggled with that the other day talking to some Astros fans. I said, "Good luck in the National League playoffs," and they're like, "Yeah, we're in the AL now." So that shows where my head's at most of the time. Most of the time, I'm chasing 3 young children around. So. But I think the playoffs are going to be compelling as well, and that's good for baseball, and that's good for sports. So.
On a personal note, I wanted him on this show. This is show number 600. If there's anybody out there who deserves to be on this show for all the input he's given me and all the coaching and the mentoring and putting his arm around me so we can get this done, you can do this, big guy. And so I got to have Drew Bedard on this show, so I wanted you to be on and just want to say publicly thank you for being such an inspiration, a mentor, and a kind of a counselor, coach, to take this show in the direction it's taken. So got to thank you for that, my friend.
Oh, you're very welcome, and proud of you and happy for you. Show 600. Just keep on trucking down the highway with this thing, man. I think it's only getting bigger, and see everything you're doing on Facebook, and you're impacting the community in a great way as well. So, and I think everybody sees that from where you're at today with Champion Chevrolet and all the different organizations that you're visiting their businesses, and it's all positive, and that's a wonderful thing, and growing the impact of the kingdom, and I think that's a wonderful thing as well. So congratulations to you, and maybe we'll talk on show 700 too. How about that?
Oh, absolutely. You're in there. You're going to be on every 100 increment show you're in, so you can just mark it down, and it won't be long. We'll be back up there for Speedway and Lights, and gosh, I know you guys, folks don't get this, but I know the staff's already preparing for not only the spring race next year, but you're already starting to put things together for the night race. What we got 11 months away, so folks think, well, y'all just sit up here and do nothing, but no, it's full speed ahead all the way now, getting ready for 18, so good stuff. Drew Bedard, my man from Bristol Motor Speedway, love you, man. I appreciate you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tom. Bye.
Love that guy right there. Drew Bedard, what a class act, and again, appreciate him. Could not do this show without him, I can tell you that. He has coached me from day one, and he's the senior, I should have given him his title. He's the senior director of brand management at Bristol Motor Speedway, so he does it and does it well. Proof's in the pudding. They turn out a great product at Bristol Motor Speedway. We are here live again at inside the studio, inside the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. All right, so let me do what I said I was going to do. Always try and keep my word the best I can. Right? Where is it? Do you even have the game, the NFL on there? Here it is. So here's your winners. This is all you're going to get from me on this show. Jacksonville, the Saints, the Jets, Minnesota, Buffalo, Indianapolis, New England, Chicago, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Tennessee, Kansas City, Green Bay, Washington. That's it. That's NFL on this show. And I will promote the Cowboys, because Jerry Jones says my football players will stand and they will have their hand over the heart and give proper due to the proper topic at the time that it's being played. That would be our national anthem. So the Cowboys play tonight on Monday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals. But everybody else could care less, and I'm one of the biggest Raider fans. Didn't even watch them. Didn't even know they lost or won until this morning. And I don't even care. I'm over it. So my father served the United States Marines in the Solomon and Wake Islands. Of course, he's gone, is he in glory, but I couldn't even comprehend what he would be saying and doing right now if he was still with us. So total injustice. It is what it is. So for this show, there's a whole lot more to talk about. Major League Baseball coming up, college football. We've got a guy down in Knoxville that's probably coaching for his job this Saturday in a lot of ways. Of course, we got the new top 25 out in college football, some newbies in. The Florida Gators did it again. We'll talk about that. They went into Lexington and broke some hearts. They broke some Tennessee hearts last week, and this past weekend they broke some Kentucky hearts. And so we'll talk about the Gators a little bit. and also get you set on the top 25 setups coming up or matchups for this week in college football. Also, we got high school football. We got a lot to talk about. We don't need NFL. I will say this: they need us a whole lot more than we need them. They need our fannies in the seats, buying the jerseys and the programs. And if you saw some of the aerial shots of some of the stadiums yesterday, it was pretty sparse. And I would think it's going to get even more sparser. And there again, we're Americans. If we choose not to take our money and spend it at that and spend it somewhere else, that's our prerogative. Coming up next, one of the guys that has been with us since day one as well. This is show number 600. The Gator Man's in the house. What's the quiz show?
Say that proud.
Pray that's that proud.
Well, I guarantee there's no NFL questions on it.
No NFL questions?
No
NFL questions. Boy, that comes as a surprise. Quick break. We're live inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet, show number 600. The Gator Man's coming up next. Talk a little college football. I'm sure he's going to brag about them Gators. I can't imagine him not. They had a big win in Kentucky. We'll talk about that and more next here on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Show number 600 coming at you from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Coming up, we're going to hear from Mike Hedrick. No, I'm not Gator, but I'm going to get the Gator Man on the camera right here because we got to get him in. We're inside the showroom, inside the studio. There he at Champion Chevrolet.
Six.
What does 6 mean?
100.
Oh, 600. I didn't understand. Yeah, so.
Was it this way or would it be this way?
Let's see. Do it on the camera. It'd probably be that way. 500, correct? Or wait a minute.
600.
00. There you go. By the way, we're going to Hardee's on Monday of next week into Charleston, West Virginia, and so we'll be up there a week from today doing our show from Hardee's and actually in South Charleston, West Virginia. We're here with the Gator Man from Cherokee Barbershop. All right, let's talk about him. Yeah, Gators 31 straight over
31
the Wildcats.
It wasn't pretty,
straight.
but 10 years down the road, and you look at the record book, it's just going to say W.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky lost it more than we won it.
Tough loss for the Wildcats, 28-27. Again, let's see. Kentucky allowed the visitors to score 2 touchdowns with Florida's receivers basically uncovered last with 43 seconds remaining. When Luke Del Rio's new guy in, Felipe Frank's out, Del Rio's in. Is he your man now?
I think he is.
All right. By the way, the Gator, obviously by virtue of his nickname, is a serious Gator fan, and so they fought back and won. Gators are 2-1. You got 3 in a row now at home. You've got Florida's got Vanderbilt, LSU, and Texas A&M in a row. That's pretty good.
LSU's our homecoming too, so that'll be a big homecoming.
Bayou Bengals are homecoming?
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right, so there you go. The Gator Man, I want him in on the show for show number 600. I said, I got to have my man in. I guess you're one of the first or second sponsors I ever signed up for the show, to be honest with you, if I went back.
A long time ago.
Oh, yeah, 600 shows ago. So, but he's in the house, ready to go. So before we get into the quiz show and college football, Alabama, let's run them down here real quick, then we're going to let you talk about the Cherokee Barbershop. From the Southeastern Conference over the weekend, Alabama destroys Vanderbilt 59-0. It was Arkansas and both those coaches playing, I think, for their jobs, and right now Kevin Sumlin wins overtime 50-43 over Arkansas. Auburn goes into Columbia, Missouri, and pins a 51-14 whooping on Missouri. That's a troubled football team right now. Florida, as we sit over Kentucky, 28-27. Gators now 2-1. Georgia runs their mark to 4-0. A 31-3 butt whooping over Mississippi State. They will come into Knoxville Saturday with a big head of steam. Syracuse goes into Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and loses. LSU got them 35-26. They're 3-1. Ole Miss with an open date this past weekend. They will go to Alabama on Saturday. Mississippi State, as we said, losing to Georgia. South Carolina wins unimpressively 17-16 over Louisiana Tech.
Last second field goal.
Yep, Gamecocks 3-1. Yeah, last second field goal to beat them. So I don't know whether the Southeastern Conference is down. College football has more parity. I'm not sure how you can define what's going on, but there's another unimpressive game of the Southeastern Conference and an outside opponent. 17-16 last second field goal for the Gamecocks. Vanderbilt, as we told you, losing to Alabama. Of course, Tennessee, a very unimpressive 17-13 win over UMass. In fact, what I read was, or what I heard from some of the folks from down, the highlight of the football game Saturday was the Elizabeth and Oak Ridge bands playing with the Pride of the Southland band, which I think is really cool. Other than that, it was a pretty ho-hum game, lots of empty seats, and so Georgia comes to town, and I think Butch is probably coaching for his job if he loses this one. In fact, I've got a story coming up here in a few minutes.
The best game all day Saturday was here in Johnson City, though.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that in a second. If Butch loses on Saturday, which obviously is a 50-50 shot it can happen, there's an open date. I got an article where one of the sports writers at CBS Sports says that'd be a good time to make the switch before they start the second half of the season, which would entail South Carolina, Alabama, Kentucky, Southern Miss, Missouri, LSU, and Vanderbilt. So we'll see. Yeah, let's talk about Bucks. Bucks, big win.
That was awesome.
You were there.
Fantastic crowd.
Yeah.
8,022 people.
Army Golden Knights came in, didn't
That was beautiful. I tell you what,
got him all tore up over here.
It was just to watch that come flying down. Mm-hmm. There's words can't describe it. Mm-hmm. If there are, I can't find them.
Yeah, it is good. It was good.
Look,
getting goosebumps.
Just talking about it.
Yep. It'll do it. Mike Hedrick coming up in a few minutes. NASCAR Fans Report to give us an update on what happened over the weekend in NASCAR in all three series. My man, you see on the screen, the Gator Man's in here from Cherokee Barbershop. So East Tennessee State, big win. It's a statement win.
Overtime win.
Describe what happens. First play of the game, I wasn't there, obviously. So
First play, I think it was the second play of the game.
overtime.
In overtime, his first play in overtime. Mercer scored first on a field goal, and then the first play from scrimmage in overtime, guy was wide open on a wheel route right down the middle of the field. Just lobbed it in.
Stinson.
Boop. Beautiful.
Yep. And place went nuts and won it.
Place went nuts. It was unreal.
Final score?
What was the final score? 20, I don't know. They won by 3 because they didn't kick the extra point.
It was over at that point, right? It was over, correct?
It was over.
Yeah. So East Tennessee State wins a football game. You really don't.
I can't remember the score, to be honest with you.
Lordy. Okay, let's see if I can find it real quick.
I'm trying to think.
I was sitting at Beauty and the Beast, Jonesboro Repertory Theater, putting on a phenomenal production of Beauty and the Beast. So
was it 30-24?
Let's see right here. 26-23 overtime.
26-23.
He was so excited I forgot the score. 26-23 in OT.
In overtime. Had a chance to win it in regulation, but had one big play to give in midfield, and penalties brought him back. And he just took some knees, and that was it.
Heading off to Furman this weekend to take on the Purple Paladins. So, big win.
Every time I hear that, I think of a song. Purple People Eater, the Purple Paladins. I don't know.
It's our boy. Gator Man. Talking about Cherokee Barbershop. You're closed today, but open
Tuesdays and Friday.
Friday.
8:30 to 5. Saturday, 8:30 to 12. Just a great place to hang out. Coffee's free if you buy. Or coffee's $11. Haircut's free.
Haircut's free. A cup of coffee costs you $11. Get to keep a cup.
Get to keep a cup. Come in. If you can grow it, I can cut it.
There you go. Big guys, little guys.
Big guys, little guys. Had 150 new customers so far.
You knew that.
I knew that.
Didn't have to ask him. Awesome.
I don't think I'm going to get my 213 that I got last year. But hey.
You don't know that.
You never know, but it's not on track.
You got 90 days, but still 150. How many did you have last year?
213.
So what is that? 380 something?
That's 53.
Well, what was it? 213 last year?
213 last year.
And 150 this year.
That's 63.
Well, I'm not doing it. I'm adding both of them together. 363 new customers in 2 years for a one-man barbershop. It's pretty impressive.
I'm tickled.
Oh,
I'm blessed.
Blessed. You better believe you're blessed. So, good stuff. Beard trimmings when the hair comes off for the PanteneBeautifulLinks.com. Good time to plug it. Growing the hair for cancer patients. We're getting close.
We can do that on the air.
Oh, yeah. Last time I was there, you measured it. It's getting closer, isn't it?
It's long enough now if you want a short haircut.
Yeah. Well, I don't want a short haircut. So it needs to grow a little
if
bit
we
longer.
Take it way high, we got it.
Yeah. Way high being like up here?
Like mine.
Right. No, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. So anyway, when it does get time to be cut and sent off to Pantene for folks going through chemo and radiation treatment, for ladies that will make a wig out of this, among other people's hair, we're going to put them in together. This man will be the one cutting the hair. So there you go. You got a quiz show ready?
I got the quiz show.
All right. Mike Hedrick joins us coming up. Steve McCauley is going to come by. We're going to be joined by Dave Martin, WLW Cincinnati. Andy Dietrich and or Cletus going to join us here live. We're show number 600. We're inside the studio, inside the showroom here at Champion Chevrolet. In fact, we're going to be here 3 times this week. We'll be here our regular Thursday stop. Then on Friday, Andy said, come on back in here on Friday and hang out with us as well. I said, okay. And we start back our Food City shows next week.
It's a twofer.
Twofer. Actually, a threefer.
3 for this.
We're 3 for this week. Love coming over and hanging out with Tim and Andy. And they've been finalizing deals. See, they've had folks in all the offices already this morning, all the cubicles, finalizing deals and selling machines and previously owned and new ones, and a little smattering of both. It's been a good start here on a Monday morning. All
Are
right.
you taking that one home?
Oh, baby. I'm not sure I'm getting out of that one, but I would.
Oh, the top comes off.
You're right. Right beside us. I'm going to show it here in a minute. It's a candy apple red Corvette convertible. Man, you're talking about a pretty Corvette, too. It's called the Grand Sport Corvette. Looking nice. You look good in that.
I look good in anything.
Well, he looks good in a Yugo. He just looks good. He just chick magnet. All right.
Hey, you know why the Yugo has rear defrost windows?
No.
Keep your hands warm while you push it. All right, the quiz show.
All right, here we go. Quiz show. Fire away, big guy.
Pele's real name is Edson Orantes de
Nah, tell me he didn't come in here with the first quiz show question. Pele's his real name is
Edson Orantes de Nascimento.
True or false? His real name, Pele. I'm sure that's it. I'm gonna go with it.
It is true. I couldn't have made that up.
There you go. That's what I was thinking. He couldn't have done that one. All right, 1-1. Number 2.
Okay, Germany has produced the most Formula One World Championship drivers. True or false?
Germany has produced the most Formula One drivers or championship drivers?
Championship drivers.
Formula One championship drivers more have come from Germany than any other country. True or false? Formula One championship drivers more from Germany than any other country. I'm going to say that's false.
That's correct.
Hey.
It's false. Great Britain.
I was going to say England. Okay. I'm 2 for 2 out of 5. Here we go. Number 3.
Number 3. The Ashes is a popular trophy in tennis.
The Ashes?
The Ashes.
ASHES, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
The Ashes?
Ashes
are a popular trophy. I'm going to assume it's named after Arthur Ashe. The Ashes is a popular trophy in tennis. I would say that would be true.
That is incorrect.
Okay, stupid question. All right,
it's
go.
the cricket trophy. Okay.
You big lug, you. Yeah, there you go. 2 for 3. Number 4.
Muhammad Ali
Boxing.
is the longest reigning boxing champ with 25 defenses.
The late Muhammad Ali is the longest running boxing champion with 25 defenses. That's false.
That's right. You're right. It's Joe Louis.
Joe Louis, yep. 3 for 4.
All right.
Yeah, it's coming on strong.
In 1945 World Series, the Chicago Cubs played the Detroit Tigers. True or false?
45 World Series, the Cubs and the Tigers. Where does he get this stuff? Okay. 45 World Series, Cubs and the Tigers. That would be incorrect.
No, that is correct. That's all right. 3 for 5.
It hurt me. That hurt. 3 for 5.
3 for 5.
Not so good. All right.
That's better than what Shaq does free throws. So.
0 for 5. He's typically an 0 for. He doesn't shoot real well in free throws. Old Shaquille O'Neal back in the day. All right, give me your take on the NFL. What
I'm not going to talk about it.
There you go. I'm right there with you. I'm over it. So
I didn't watch any last year, and I will. No matter what they do now, I'll never go back.
No. So we be done, and a lot of folks did, and a lot of empty stadiums. All right, Cherokee Barbershop ready to go. So where's your assignment this week, electronic clock operator? You know yet?
This week I'm Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. Do you know who we're playing?
Grace Christian.
Grace Christian and Happy Valley. Is that correct?
Should be a good ball game.
Knoxville Grace. Yep. Knoxville Grace and Happy Valley Friday night. So there you go. All right.
They had a good ball game this weekend. Happy Valley did against Cloudland.
Heck of a ball game.
I thought it was going to be a little closer.
That was a hammer time. So I want to say thank you.
I want to say thank you. 600, and we go farther than that.
We go way back. Me and Gator go back a ways. We're buddies, ain't we?
I think so.
I think so too. I called him up and said, I got to have you on the show, my 600th show. I want you on my 700th too. I want you on every 100 increment show.
I don't have to wait between the 6 and 7 to it.
No. So at this pace, to get 400 more shows, let me see, let's do some cipher. 400 more shows at 5 shows a week, it'll be another 80 more weeks. Right?
Wow.
Is that right?
That's almost 80. 2 years.
Yeah. I got a ways to go to get to that number 1,000.
Well, so, you know how to do it.
Yeah, just keep plugging.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. With my fingers in the Lord's belt loops. There you go.
That's right.
Hit it again, big dog. I'm glad you're here.
That was a twofer.
Fluffed and folded?
I believe it or not, I got up at 12:30 this morning.
You went to the laundromat?
No, I didn't go to about 2.
Went 2 o'clock in the morning to the laundromat.
Wasn't anybody there.
No, I wouldn't think. Fluffed and folded. So
fluffed and folded, came home, cleaned house a little bit, watched TV, finished season 7 of Blue Bloods on Netflix.
Busy morning so far with the man who's off today. So looking good, by the way. Feeling better?
I feel better.
Oh yeah.
Feel tired, but I'm always tired.
Yeah, but
I could be getting up at 12:30.
could be it. Not getting a whole lot of sleep. We'll take a break. Thank you, my friend, for coming over. Show number 600. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll go to Northern Virginia. We'll talk NASCAR with Mike Hedrick coming up next here. We're live again inside the studio, inside the showroom. Show number 600 today. The Tom Taylor Sports Show, live from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's go live to Northern Virginia. Our buddy Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fans reporter. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing good up here. Just getting me a bonfire started out back here just a little bit. Got a little space, and I'm getting ready to take all my Redskin hats and put them on the bonfire. I actually had boycotted last year watching the NFL, but I still kind of followed along because of my skins, but once a handful of them took their knee yesterday, along with most of the NFL, I was absolutely done with all of it. And I'm very proud of the stand that you're taking, not covering it. I think that you're when you went through just the names of the winners, it took like 5 seconds. Yep. That was hilarious. Yep. And I think you made a great point with that, Tom. I stand right with you.
Yep, I'm going to give you the winners each week, I think. And after that, I'm not calling anybody's names who did good, who did bad. They don't deserve it. So I'm done with the National Football League, as apparently Mike Hedrick, a lot of folks are. Saw a lot of folks on Facebook, some guys, taking their cameras or their cell phones and watching them either burn them or throw away their NFL stuff. And some folks say, what's the big hoopla? Well, there's a lot of reasons there's a big hoopla as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, the NFL shot themselves in the foot. Mike Tomlin called out the guy who went out there, a 3-time tour veteran in Afghanistan, went out there to stand by himself for the national anthem as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and his coach called him out on after the game. So the whole thing is, the whole thing's spiraling out of control. I don't know where it's going to stop, but I think it'll stop when the sponsors start canceling and the fans stop going and sitting and paying big bucks to watch these football players. And so, anyway, that's my take on the National Football League. Mike's here to talk about the NASCAR, and of course a big weekend on all 3 series as the we don't call them a chase anymore. The playoffs have begun. Let's start with the Truck Series and roll right up into the Xfinity and into the Cup, or we can start the Cup and go. I'll start with the Cup Series and go backwards, go back down. They're all important, but obviously the Primo Series is the Monster Energy Series. So tell us about that yesterday in NASCAR.
Well, they were at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the ISM Connect 300, and you know what? It started off with every single guy in the stadium with their hat off and their hand on their heart. I think they've even got some notice from a couple of teams. I don't think really they need to say that, but yeah, if you didn't stand with your hand on their heart, you were going to be in trouble. They all did, like they always do. That makes us proud in NASCAR. Hey, it looked like we were watching the Toyotas put on an exhibition. I mean, they led 299 of the 300 laps. The king of the stages, Martin Truex, he goes ahead and gets stage number 1. But he got caught up in a wreck between Austin Dillon, who got in the back of Kevin Harvick. I don't think we're done hearing about that little incident. Well, that caused a wreck that involved Kurt Busch, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Truex himself right there. Even Dale Jr. and Danica got in there. Hamlin was involved a little bit. Hey, that ended the stage right there under caution. Kyle Busch got the win, got that, and he also got the win. So that's going to put him down as the race winner. That's his 3rd this season, 3rd at New Hampshire, 41st in his career. That win advances him right along with Truex into the next round. And, that was an absolutely great race. And that wreck that Harvick was in probably did the biggest in the story, because he went in the standings last week from being in 3rd in the standings all the way down to, I believe he's in 10th right now. So he's in trouble. He's really going to need a win. Xfinity, they were in Kentucky. That was a blast. Young rookie Tyler Reddick, he got his very first win. Only been racing 15 starts. So that was great. He did it like a boss, too. He actually set the track record of with a commanding lead of 14 and a half seconds at the finish line right over there. So Reddick's not in the playoffs, but it was a great spoiler win for him right there, and it was awesome. Hey, the trucks, they did race in New Hampshire. Young Christopher Bell, he is on fire in that Camping World Series. He's racing the number 4 Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. He dominated the race. I mean, he just won both stages, won the race. That's his 3rd this season. He was already at the top seed of the playoffs. Now he's got a 40-point lead. Now Johnny Sauter, who's in 2nd, is last year's champion. Well, 40-point lead, the young guy, Christopher Bell, could sit out a whole race and still have the points lead. So very exciting racing in NASCAR all this whole weekend.
We're talking to our buddy Mike Hendricks, see on the screen, the NASCAR Fans Report of Northern Virginia. So for the Monster Energy, you've got 8 slots left. You got 12 drivers trying to get into those final 8 slots coming up Sunday in Dover. Truex is in by winning last week. Kyle Busch is in by winning yesterday. And then Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski are in on points. So you got 8 slots left in the round of 12. You're heading off to Dover to wrap this thing up on this first round. So you got 12 guys trying to squeeze into 8 slots. Who typically runs well in Dover as they head that way to the Monster Mile this weekend?
Well, I think what you're going to find out is that as we go into this, is that the Chevys will really have a dominance there at Dover. Dover, we were right there at New Hampshire, and that's pretty much like a 1-mile flat track. And now we're going to the Monster Mile. Now it has 24-degree bankings and even 9 in the straight, so the cars are going to be going a lot faster. At New Hampshire, they were running around at about 108 miles an hour. At Dover, they're going to be going 130 miles an hour. Everybody knows that the king of Dover is Jimmy Johnson. He won there in the springtime. That gave him his 11th win, which is the most of any driver there at Dover. Truex won this race last season, but you got to keep your eye on Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth has the most top 5s and top 10s of all the drivers out there at Dover. And but like I said, the Chevys are really strong there. They've got 38 wins to Ford's 25, and Toyota's just 4. Granted, Toyotas are really going on this season here, but they haven't been, really known to be well there at Dover. So I think when they go up there, you're going to see the guys who are at the, your Stenhouses. They're already making mental mistakes. I think Jamie Mack's team is not really, he's not as strong as Kyle Larson. So I think you're going to see some teams like I said, the strong are going to eat the weak.
We're talking to Mike Hedrick again. So the silly season continues. We had Drew Bedard on earlier in the show. We were talking Danica Patrick, Eric Amarola, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, among those guys that don't, Michael McDowell now, that do not have a ride going into 2018. Seats are becoming at a premium. Where are these folks going to go next year?
You know what? The one that's still a big stunner to me is Matt Kenseth. I'm just really surprised. Sure, Kurt Busch is going to wind up being back there at Stewart-Haas. He's not signed just yet, but I'm hearing strong things about that. But yeah, Matt Kenseth, that is just, I just don't understand that at all, that somebody would have, I don't understand that you grab up a Casey Kane and you don't grab up Matt Kenseth, unless it's like Drew said, maybe it's the price tag, and maybe the owners are looking to try to put younger and, less pricey veterans in there. But I agree with Drew. You got to have wins. Wins are what's wins in the sport. And so I think Kenseth's going to be somewhere. I don't know just yet, but that's crazy.
It is crazy. And so we move on to Dover, and then after that we go to Charlotte, Talladega, and Kansas. What do you think it would take, or you think we could ever see the fact they'll roll Bristol into part of the playoffs now? Because I think coming up here in late October, or even late September, early October, the temperatures are cooler, the leaves are turning in the mountains of East Tennessee. It'd be a great setting for a Saturday night race, and that would count in the chase. We can't say the chase with the championship anymore; they call it the playoffs. But what do you see? Does NASCAR ever sit down and evaluate these tracks as far as who should be in the playoffs, or is it going to be pretty much locked in stone? These are always going to be the same tracks.
Well, actually, they kind of wiggled around this year. Here, they started with that, and they moved. Richmond is now going to be one of the first ones into the playoffs, and Indianapolis is going to be one of the last ones going into the playoffs. And me personally, I would love to see Bristol Motor Speedway be in the playoffs or chase or whatever you want to call it. And you're exactly right. A fall race over there in the mountains of Tennessee with the campfires and those people that go right there, that would be the perfect setting for really, when the season is really ramped up and when it even means even more. You take just people in the regular part of the season and they get to Bristol, they come out of their brains and they're very aggressive. You put a Bristol and be that aggressive in the playoffs, and I think it even ramps it up even more. That'd be very exciting. I think NASCAR does look at it. They get input from tracks. They get, they listen to what the drivers want to do sometimes, and they listen to the fans. So I think that NASCAR is we know they're always changing. They're changing all the time. So yeah, I'd like to see it. It'd be great.
I would too. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't say never, but it would be nice to have Bristol as a part of the playoff format for the NASCAR. It is to me, the best track on the circuit, and so a lot of folks think that as well based on the attendance we had this year. Mike Hedrick, get ready. Friday, we're going to tap right back into you and get a little closer. Let's do another more specific preview about Dover and this weekend's racing. If you've got the time on Friday, I'd love to have you back on the show. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to leave you with one good quote, and I heard this one from that Jones boy, Eric Jones. He was being interviewed by Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett at the Hall of Fame on Wednesday, and he was asking him, because he's got a chance to be Rookie of the Year, and he's driving really great. And Dale Jarrett asked him, do you talk to other young drivers, your Ryan Blaney's and your Chase Elliott's, about getting advice about what you should do? And his answer was, no, I don't have that many of drivers are not my friends. He said, my daddy told me, and here's the quote, you bring your friends to the track. You don't meet your friends at the track. And I thought, you know what, that's the exact kind of driving that me and you have been talking about. We think that they've been a little bit too much of a country club attitude. And like he said, you bring your friends to the track. You don't meet them at the track.
I like that. That's a great quote. Great report as always, my friend. Thank you, Mike Hedrick. Have a great week. I'll talk to you Friday, all right?
You have a great, congratulations on number 600, and God bless you real good, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Mike Hedrick. I love that guy. Does a great job. Appreciate him very much being with us here on the show. Speaking of the tickets and speaking of NASCAR, there you go. We're giving away this coming Monday, a week from today, we're giving away tickets to send you to the Drive for the Cure 300 coming up next weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway, October the 7th, and the Bank of America 500, October the 8th. All you have to do is go to TomTaylorSports.com/contest. I think Jeremiah said we got 8 or 9 states represented now already, so these are multiple winners. We're giving them away a week from today, so you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. No purchase necessary, obviously. First name, last name, city you're from, an email address, all we need. And so we will put you in the hunt for tickets to go to see Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Drive for the Cure 300, or the Bank of America 500 next weekend. Checking the extended forecast, supposed to get a little bit more seasonable temperatures around the south. Hopefully get some rain. But, again, I'm not going to complain because we could be in Puerto Rico, we could be in Texas, we could be in Florida where they had obviously way too much rain. So it's dry around here. We're supposed to be a little cooler next weekend. Point being, it's going to be a good weekend to get to Charlotte and watch some racing next weekend as part of the playoff format. Quick break. We'll come right back. We'll be joined by someone else that had to be on this show. Think the world of him, what he does, and the goals he has set and the goals that he is reaching. Our buddy Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He joins us coming up next year. We're live at inside the studio, inside the showroom at Champion Chevrolet, show number 600. Ooh, they said it wouldn't work on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We are live again at Champion Chevrolet inside the studio, inside the showroom. Look who's with us, and look who came by to be on part of show number 600. Had to have him on, our dear friend Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Thank you. I'm honored to be on here. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm tickled
600. Wow.
Yeah, tickled to death to do it. It's in fact, I was talking to Gator before we got here to get to 1,000, 5 shows a week. What would that be? That would be
that'd be what?
40 weeks.
Yeah. No,
80 weeks. 80 weeks to get 400 shows.
Yeah.
So that's 2 weeks a
1,000
year. So
will be.
We're talking another year and a half to get us
Yeah.
to 1,000.
Yeah.
So, bless the Lord comes, I'm going to be here doing it.
Right.
So,
Awesome. Good. Well, I think you've done a great thing in reaching people, and I think what's the thing I like most about your show, other than you, is that you dedicate it to the Lord. You say the man that hung on the cross. I mean, and if he didn't, we would have had to.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can't earn your way to heaven.
Oh, no.
You could, that's a Pharisee, somebody who thinks they can earn their way to heaven. You have to recognize you're a sinner and you fall short of the glory of God. And when you realize that, you come in brokenness and accept His grace.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what FCA is all about. And I know that you dedicate your show to that. And I think that's awesome. And I think the Lord's blessing that because of that, your attitude. You want me to read this?
Yep, you do that. This is the verse of the day out of the book of Isaiah that I'm going to read one more time, my little take on the NFL, and then we're going to move on to the FCA. We're getting ready for the See at the Pole. And we got a dinner coming up. We got to promote. So read today's verse of the day.
Okay, the very words of God. I have carried you since your birth. I will continue to be with you and sustain you, even when you have gray hairs, long gray hairs. I will always carry you. I will always sustain you. I will always rescue you. Keep your mind focused on me, and I will keep you in perfect peace.
There you go.
Love, your Heavenly Father. Isaiah 26 and 46. Man, that's a lot more than 600 days, or 600 shows, isn't it? All those. But he knows how many hairs are on our head. It says in Luke. And if he cares about that, he cares about the other details of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell the young people when I talk to them, even your mama don't know that. Mamas know everything.
Right, yeah.
Mama don't even know how many hairs on your head,
right.
but he does. I imagine every person just in this showroom, there's probably 25 people in this building, probably more than that today, and he knows every hair on every one of these people's hairs.
That's right, yeah.
That's how much he cares for us.
Yeah.
Here is the, then we're going to go to the FCA. I want to read this one more time. I had somebody text and said, please read it one more time, so here it is. And so it says, this is my response to the NFL. And not standing for the national anthem. And, oh gosh, don't go, oh.
Did it go off?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
How do you look in the eyes of the loved ones who had a loved one who did not come back from a war and tell them, I'm not standing for what they fought for and defended and ultimately died for, which is this country and the folks who live in it? Or for those who did come back but suffered injuries that won't allow them to live the life the way they did or could before they went, and they too went and defended this great country and the folks who live in it? Tom Taylor says, we owe both sets of folks I mentioned a tremendous debt of gratitude for their service to this country, and they don't deserve us not standing. If for no other reason than simply out of respect for them, we should stand for the national anthem. They've earned it, and they deserve it. That's what I'm going to say. And that's as Forrest Gump says. I'm going to say about that. So,
there's a video that will touch your heart it's on YouTube and it's on Facebook. It's of a little boy. I think he's 9-year-old boy, and somewhere in Florida that's struggling to stand because the national anthem's playing on TV either before a football game or a baseball game, and he has cerebral palsy. And this little boy's got leg braces, and he can barely stand up, and you can see him struggling to stand and sing along to the national anthem, and it'd break your heart just to watch it, That little boy's got full of pride and love for his country, and gratitude for his country, and that's all I'm going to say about that too, But it's a different perspective.
Well, and Main Street America, I guess what you want to call it, they're responding because ticket sales are way off. Their sponsorships, I would be willing to bet, are going to be getting canceled. Folks are going to say, we've had enough. So we'll see how we go forward with this, how they're going to change it. I don't know how they can fix it. Well, I do know they can fix it. But so as I said earlier at the outset of the show, the only NFL team I'm going to talk about every Sunday or Monday after the weekend, I'll read the winners of the games. That's it. And then I will talk about the Cowboys.
The Cowboys,
Jerry Jones says you are going to stand up. And you are going to put your hand across your heart, because if you're an employee of this football team, that's what you're going to do if you want to check for me. I don't know if there'll be a backlash on that or not.
And he has the prerogative to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
As the owner. The owners of this place here, this great Chevrolet dealership.
Any place.
Any place. But
Yeah.
I'm just looking out here, seeing these 25 guys that work here. When they're on the clock,
They're on the
and
clock.
as long and as long as the boss doesn't ask them to do something illegal, if it's within their job description, they need to do it with a good attitude, and protest on their own time. If they want to go picket out here and make a sign on their off day, they can do that. It's a free country. But this would be a great time if a man had some capital to start a football league.
USFL.
USA, yeah, we were talking.
CFL.
I grew up in Tampa Bay, Florida, and I remember the Tampa Bay Bandits. I guess around about 1979 or something, 80, and Tampa Bay Bandits. I think Burt Reynolds owned the team or was part owner, and Steve Spurrier was the coach, right? I remember I had the T-shirt. Yeah, Tickets were $8. $8. $8.
get in to see the
Yeah,
Tampa Bay Bandits.
and my brother and I were such cheapskates. We would. We'd park in Dale Mabry. We'd park down, way down the road. Probably walk 3 miles to save $5 parking fee. But when you got back to Burger King with that $5, you could buy 2 cheeseburgers and
eat like a king at Burger King.
Yeah.
Wolf it down. The little Macaulay boy. He's like, yeah,
man.
Don't laugh at me. I've got 4 burgers sitting there because I save my money. We're talking to Steve Macaulay with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So you got an event coming up this week?
I do. Can you get a shot of that? And I'll talk about it. It's our annual fundraising banquet. It's called Generosity for the Next Generation. We want to pay it forward to the kids coming up through touching their lives through sports, touching them in a spiritual way, impacting them through athletics and through coaches and athletes. And our speaker is Brittany Ezel. She's the head coach of the women's basketball team at East Tennessee State University, and she's going to give us a good keynote talk. We're going to have a wonderful meal. We're going to hear a ministry report, and most important that people love every year, we're going to hear testimonials from local athletes and coaches. And so we say on there, the tagline to the event is "Come and be blessed and be a blessing," because you can come and you will be blessed that night, even if you don't give anything. But we pray and hope that you'll be stirred in your heart, any guests that are there, to support the ministry, and that's how they can be a blessing to us. They can pay it forward to the next year of reaching out in the 40 to 50 schools that we're in well, not just schools, we're in community sports too. That's another thing we can talk about another time. But there's 49 million kids in America in community sports. 49 million in community sports. There are there's about 8 million in organized sports in schools, and about a million on the collegiate level. But you've got 49 million that are competing in travel, in the soccer, little soccer leagues, travel, baseball, softball, football, little leagues, and that's a lot of kids. That's our mission field. And I looked it up. That there's 200 countries in the world that have an entire population of less than 49 million people. 200 countries.
Wow.
So, a lot of those little African countries, but like probably Ireland has less. Ireland and Scotland, and they would have less than 49 million. And so, my point is, we send missionaries all over the world, which is great. I'm all for that. I love missions, but we've got a mission field right here through sports in these community leagues, and they're kids that don't play on the gridiron or for the school. They play on the weekends and in club sports, and so we can reach them now too. So anyway, it's a great mission field, and we're reaching about 30 some odd schools. I think it's 37, 38 huddles we have going on, middle school, high school, college, and then we've got about 6, 8, something like that, community sports teams that we're getting involved in. We show them the God's Game Plan Bible, how to use it. We provide it for them if they want it. And they have pregame Bible studies. They have devos and talks, and it's just a way to bring Christ into the sports world, and it's just amazing. I mean, we see the impact of that, especially in in a time that we're in now. With we look back on Tebow, people are saying, oh well, Tebow took a knee for a different reason, and they bashed him for it,
They did.
And so it's they hate Christ said that. Christ told us we shouldn't be very surprised because Christ said, they're going to hate you because they hate me.
He said in the last days they will despise you for my name's sake.
That's right. And so
we're here.
So I'm not, it's like I'm not surprised when unbelievers act like unbelievers. I mean, it doesn't surprise me when the media bashes a believer or looks for a way to take somebody down. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. So
we're talking to our buddy Steve McCauley for a few more minutes, and we've got coming up, take a look at high school football. We've got Major League Baseball. The pennant races are winding down, final week of the regular season. Again, playoff and everything gets going next Monday, a week from today. We'll start with the wild card games, and we'll talk that next week, I should say. We'll start the playoffs. Talk more about that in a moment. And also some high school football and college football, the top 25 out for this week, both the polls and who's playing where. In closing here, throw out some schools where you've been doing huddles and different things over the last couple of weeks.
Well, we have gotten them all ramped up. I mean, ETSU kicked off on Friday. Elizabethton High School is going strong every Friday. T.A. Duggar Middle School is going to be junior high school, they call it, is going to be starting after football season. They're going to start their weekly huddle. I was up at Johnson County High School this past week. It was great. They had their huddle, and Happy Valley had a huddle. South Central, Grandview is amazing. Grandview, Carla Weems, Coach Carla Weems. I mean, there's so many to mention. I don't want to leave anybody out. We had a Fields of Faith up at Sullivan East. Greene County, we got Larry Bible over there doing a great job in Greene County, and we've got Brad Perry, our new guy in Sullivan County, he's doing his fundraising and stuff now. And Science Hill, we've got several ministries going on. We've got a Fields of Faith coming up at Science Hill on October 11th, as well as at Happy Valley on October 11th. It's a community-wide gathering, and Grandview is doing a Crockett community gathering over there. So we've got some really great things going on. It's really amazing. We've just got so many neat ministries. Also, Providence Academy, we've got an FCA there. This is the second year in a row that we've got an FCA there, and it's a great school. And of course it's a Christian academy, but they need FCA too, and they appreciate it there. And I was honored to go speak to them. And by the way, you said poll. In reference to NASCAR, I think, but we're see you at the poll is this Wednesday. Yeah,
this Wednesday.
Yeah, it's this Wednesday, so it's a different kind of poll. It's the flag poll, and it's kind of fitting for everything going on about the flag. I mean, these kids are going to circle around the pole this Wednesday and all over the country, and they're going to not to celebrate the flag or to honor the flag, but to honor God. It's just a meeting place on the campus. They're going to circle around the flagpole 30 minutes before school starts and have a little prayer meeting. Pray for their it's a national movement called See You at the Pole. Most people are familiar with it, and if you're not, you can go to See You at the Pole. I think it's syatp.com, or just do a Google search on it. It's amazing. It's an amazing movement. These kids, it's student-led, student-initiated. Other people can come, youth leaders, family members, because it's before school. They gather around this flagpole and they pray for their school, their community, their nation and their world, and they pray for the impact that they can have as missionaries on their campus. So it's a great thing.
Last week we did a ball game at Duggar against the Crockett Junior Pioneers. We had a celebrity come up at halftime.
Yeah.
And he weighed in. He said, I can't talk long. I got things to do. I said, I understand that. He said, I got peeps waiting on me. So a young man came up, and the Facebook blew up, exploded when this young man came up, and we had him on the show, and in behind him was a pretty proud papa. Yeah,
that's hard to say several times, but yes, I'm very proud of Daniel. He's a great kid, and he loves his job as the manager of the Cyclones, and they got a big game tomorrow. They're playing Liberty Bell. Yeah, at Liberty Bell on the big gridiron there at Science Hill. So I've got to try and be neutral. I got to be Switzerland. But I got to encourage him too.
Sure.
So it's good. And so he was real pleased. The headset barely fit him.
Yeah.
But it was falling off of him. But he was glad to be on, and I'll tell him you gave him a shout out today.
He's a fine young man. We're going to be there not tomorrow as he said, but next Tuesday we'll be back over there. Duggar and Vance for their final game. We're going to broadcast that one. That's going to be at the Elizabethton Field Citizens Bank Stadium.
Yep. That's their final game. That's a big deal. And by the way, you said celebrity. If anyone wants to meet Daniel and get his autograph, he will be at the banquet as a greeter. So he,
really?
Yeah, he will be. He will be at the banquet greeting. Probably will have his tux on. He's got, if it still fits him. He grew 4 inches this year, so
big boy.
Yeah, he's gotten taller. He's slimmed down. I mean, it's awesome because he grew 4 inches, but he just had his physical and he only gained 3 pounds. So that's a good thing. I mean, that's it's better than not growing and gaining 40 pounds. But
looks like a firehouse with legs. Don't want that.
So we're proud of him.
You say hello to Jules Britt Roberts.
Jules Britt. I know her.
She is watching. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Jules. Yep. She's a great Cyclone supporter and the Cyclone Football Club and great lady. And her daughter is now on the dance team, Grace Roberts at ETSU. She was our president at Elizabethton High School last year for FCA. Great young lady, beautiful young lady, and she is cheering and dancing those ETSU Bucks on to victory. I think they won last week because of Grace Roberts cheering.
Dancing.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, her cheering
Mama
on the sidelines.
So, anyway.
Mama says, that was a great game. That was amazing. So
we will be there. We are, of course, going to be doing the Duggar game next Tuesday, as we said. We're doing the Sean Witten Coaches Show tomorrow morning, taping it, ready to go with their big win on the road against Tennessee High. And then in the spring, we'll be doing Elizabethton baseball. So we're kind of getting plugged into them Cyclones, and we like them, and plugging into this FCA guy as well. So
thank you.
We'll have to get Cletus to take a picture of us.
Cletus, what a cool name. Cletus,
cool?
Yeah.
Cletus,
yeah.
He's the one who designed this.
Sounds like he could have his own TV show with a name like that.
Inside the Cletus Green Engineered and Constructed Studio. Cletus built this thing for us. So he's a good guy.
That's
You're
good.
A good guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, awesome. I had to have him on my show number 600. Quick break. We'll come right back. Cletus is going to join us, as a matter of fact. Talk a little Champion Chevrolet here on this Monday on the Tom Davis Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here with the ratio. It goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Love it. There we are. And of course, there's my man on the screen. We'll get him on here in just a second. But yeah, we're going to be here today. Obviously, we are here today. Then we're going to be here on Thursday, our regular stop, and then on Friday as well. So we will crank back up our Food City shows. Brand new month. Next week will be at Euclid Avenue in Bristol. Following Friday will be at Volunteer Parkway in Bristol. But this Friday, we're going to be right back in here hanging out with my man Cletus and Tim and Lloyd and Pig and all the folks in here. You got some interesting. In fact, first off, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for letting me come over and be here in the showroom for show number 600. Pretty big deal for this old cowboy. They said it wasn't going to work. Here we are. So run down the salespeople. You got a great staff. Let's see. They got
We do have an excellent staff.
Probably don't need to look at the pictures. You know them because.
Oh yeah, we got most have been with us for a really long time. Tim Arnold, Lloyd Fleener. We've done exceptional. Brian Wilder. Charlie Birchfield, Jay Hayes has been with us for several years now. Tom Powers only been here a little over a year, or I guess it's next month will be a year. He's done a real good job. He's local Johnson City, been living here for a long time. We've got Bob Bays, retired state trooper. We got Marshall Jobe. He's a born and raised Kingsport, went to DB. Most of these boys have been in and around this stuff for a really long time.
They do a great job.
They do.
You got your internet sales department. You got Kristen, and you've got
Stephanie Broadwater.
Yep.
And David Palmer. And Brandy Shelton does most of our phone answering and gets most people's questions answered. She does a really good job upstairs with that, dealing with the people in the beginning of it all.
There you go. Starting the transaction with a happy voice on the phone, as this young lady does a great job. We're talking to my man Cletus Green, Champion Chevrolet. So again, we're winding down the month. Hard to believe October 1st will be here on Sunday, but kind of closing out the month of September. What kind of goodies you got? What kind of specials?
Well, they've still got good money on most everything we've got. Trucks, of course, are the biggest. We've got some, I believe we can get close to $12,000 off on some of the crew cabs, 10, 11 on most everything else. Some of the work trucks don't have as much discount rebates, but they don't start out as high. So you still a good buy in them. When you get into that, of course, we've got a big selection of Colorados, Suburbans, Tahoes. We've got a lot of Traverses. 17 Traverses have good incentives on them right now and discounts from us to get the prices down on those heavily. Got 18 Traverses if you'd rather go the latest and greatest. They don't have the incentives that the 17 has, but it is the newest one. I've got real good selection, 18 Equinoxes. Cars, Cruises, Malibus have got real good incentives on them, Impalas. I've got a good selection of all three of those. I've got a good selection of Corvettes. Anybody that wants performance, we keep we sell the most in 300 miles of us, and we keep a big inventory, and we've got them here. Come by, check them out.
It's interesting. Andy was talking about last week. There's over 1 million cars that were affected by the flooding in Texas and Florida. So those folks are looking to buy vehicles. You've actually had some interest and inquiries. I think Kristen said you've actually sold a couple of cars already from folks down in Texas because their cars got flooded out with the flooding.
And I'm sure, like most everything else, the connecting states to them, they're having to pay a little more to get them. We're not affected by that, so we're selling ours still at normal price. Not taking anything into account that our market didn't get adjusted by that. So I think it works out for them to be able to do it. We've had a few dealers that have bought a few cars off of us. So it's it's set up, and they're taking them back there, and it of course assures them it wasn't in a flood if it came from here. So it helps out their whole process of getting there. And the poor people that live there, and hopefully all they lost was their cars. The loss of life was the biggest thing that that you really have to keep your hearts and prayers, for the people, the families, the rebuild. Texas is strong. They're pure-blooded American. I mean, they're gonna survive. They're gonna grow, probably prosper from this at some point in time.
Pretty resilient country we live in, and we're talking to Cletus Green. So you're talking, I don't know where any other dealership you can go in and get. I mean, we throw it out like we get $11,000 off this one, $12,000 off this one. I mean, that's a chunk of change. $12,000 off a truck, or $11,000 off a truck. I don't think many can say that.
Well, most don't want to say that. We try to get there. We do it in volume. We've got 650 cars here. Take most of the dealerships around us, it'd take 3 of them to get to 650 cars. We do that because the people come in here, they trust us, they buy the cars, so we can keep the cars. It's a full circle. It takes their willingness to trade with us, their trust in us to buy, for us to trust in having these cars here for them to buy, and it all works hand in hand. We're so blessed to live in an area where people can buy cars, and people can prosper and grow. We do well. I mean, it's we're just blessed to be here.
All right, let me pick out one out of the ad here. Do a sales pitch. Tell me about a Cruze. You got 2017 Cruzes. They're 25% off. Got to get them out of here. The 18s are coming in. What are the selling points? What would be, not what, but who would be attracted, and who would be a prime candidate to drive a Cruze?
Well, the Cruze, we'll sell them to somebody buying their 16-year-old car, and we'll sell them to somebody. We had a lady bought one about a week and a half ago, and I believe she was 84. So I mean, it doesn't really have a demographic like a lot of the vehicles do. Everybody buys it. I mean, it's economical. They're not expensive to keep up or repair. They're not expensive to put gas in. Everything about them is user friendly. They ride good. They drive good. They'll compete with anything in their segment of car. And they just, they really do. They're really a great car.
So you compare it with other cars. What would you throw in up against a Cruze? What other?
Well, the Civic, Corolla, fall into that category. The 4-door Escort, and that gets close because those cars start getting into, you're just about our Sonic, which is a little cheaper. Falls into really, as far as size of a couple of those cars, the Cruze is a little roomier and size-wise a little more comfortable, but they all kind of fall in that category.
Yeah.
And in today's market, there's a lot of really good cars out there. The difference is who's going to take care of you after you buy it, and that's the things that's some of the things that matter as much or more depending on the day.
The old SAS, service after the sale, is what it's all about. And so that's good. That's right here. And again, the hours are open right now. You're open 6 days a week. The website, championjc.com. Phone number 282-2121. The hours are open, my friend.
We're 8:30 to 8, Monday through Saturday. When time changes, the end of October, we'll go to 8:30 to 7. Service is open on Saturday from 8:30 to 5. And, of course, 5 days a week, 8:30 to 6.
There you go.
And they do a top-notch. We've got some of the best service advisors and a couple of the best mechanics in the business up there working. So,
it kind of goes hand in hand because you buy it on the front end, and then they're taking care of the back end.
Yes, sir.
It all goes hand in hand.
Yes, sir.
How do they do that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You want to do that once? Still Tim?
No, I don't think I can pull that one off.
Me either. Leave it up to Tim. He does a better job, and that's what he's known for. He says everywhere he goes, people will go up and say, how'd they do that? He's out to eat with his wife or whatever.
Yeah, they usually ask me why'd I do that.
There you go. Good job, my friend. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at high school football and Major League Baseball. We're down to the final week of the regular season. We'll talk baseball next year on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here again at Champion Chevrolet, our 600th show. I love it. And again, they said it wouldn't work, and they said you're going to do a sports show on the Facebook and on the internet that'll never last. Well, today is show number 600, and I always like to have my buddies on. And here's one that you see on the screen from WLW Radio in Cincinnati. Our buddy riding away with Dave Martin. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing wonderful, and congratulations on that. And of course, a lot of naysayers out there nowadays on everything, but that's a tremendous salute to you, and tremendous salute that people are anxious for a change, because I think what you're doing, Tom, illustrates what's going on around the country. People are so fed up with mainstream media. They're fed up with the ESPN types that want to force feed their opinions on you, and you're a stand-up type of guy, and you're going to let the people represent how they feel, and of course I like to try to do the same thing, so I think that's why you've been a tremendous success.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I'm like Popeye says, I am what I am, and that's that's all I can be. But this NFL thing has really mushroomed. It's spiraled out of control, I guess. Young man for the Steelers went out yesterday against his team's wishes. Looks like his head coach has ripped him today in the media. We're talking about Alejandro Villanueva, the offensive tackle for the Steelers, went out and stood by himself. The rest of the Steelers stayed in the tunnel, which I thought was kind of gutless, but and so did a lot of other people too. But anyway, this thing is out of control. I don't know where it stops, but again, the stadiums are empty. I would be shocked if some of the sponsors didn't start pulling on the national scope, because there's nobody watching the games, there's nobody at the games, and the sponsors, they want to put their product in front of people to purchase. So I think this thing's going to backfire on some people. What do you think?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And, of course, I'll give NASCAR a tremendous salute, because they came right out on top of it. It says anybody that's affiliated with us that refuses to stand and salute, for the national anthem, you might as well go look for another job, maybe over there at Walmart or Kmart or, some of those stores, or maybe go out and dig a ditch or whatever. And I think that's the right thing. And I'll let people know that, I'm hosting a national show on Saturday nights and a lot of Friday nights. And Saturday night, our phone lines were absolutely lit up before what happened yesterday, all the shenanigans that were pulled, especially with the Steelers. Now, I wasn't aware that the coach ripped this player, but I'm sure you guys know that this guy is a highly decorated former Ranger in the Army, and I think the American public's siding with him.
Absolutely.
In the trucking industry, which, I'm hosting America's Trucking Network, the phones the last two nights with myself and with Mr. Steve Summers, who's the weekly host, they were just lit up, and these truckers are just fed up with it, and people listening to the shows are fed up with it. I'm disgusted and fed up with it because, once again, mainstream media is trying to shape the analogy. And Donald Trump gave a real big speech, I'm sure everybody is now aware, down there in Alabama, and come out and use the language that said, fire the SOBs. And I think in the context, the way he said it, I think he was exactly right. This is spiraling out of control, where you have a certain group of people trying to say, hey, you need to agree with us, and if we want to throw a tantrum, if we want to represent a bunch of thugs, and a bunch of radicals and stuff like that, you got to agree with us. And American people saying, hell no. And I'm with everybody else. I'm not going to, I already went to one of the Bengals games just 2 weeks ago and stuff, but I'm not going to go to the games, and I'm not going to watch them on TV. I may listen on the radio and read about them in the paper, but they keep it up. I may quit doing that. I mean, it's just pathetic. And, because I got to talk about sports or whatever, but we got too many other options out here. And people aren't going to support this type of behavior.
We're talking again today, Martin, again. So here's the coach of the Steelers says, quote, like I said, I was looking for 100% participation. We were going to be respectful for our football team, and Villanueva did not do that. He said he went out there on his own. And so he says, I love this quote, Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, says, quote, we're not politicians, we're coaches and professional athletes. That's exactly right. Nor is the National Football League the platform to conduct social media. I mean, it's just not. Now, if you want on your own time, go out and picket and do whatever, that's fine. But as a football player, and I said this last week on the show, when I go to an NFL football game, I want to watch the NFL. When I go to watch the Major League Baseball, I want to watch a baseball game or college football. I'm not interested in your opinions. Tell me that on your time. But when you're in between the chalks at a football game or on the hardwood of a basketball game, I want you to do what I'm paid to come watch you do, and that's play basketball or play football, whatever the sport is I'm watching you do. So NASCAR gets it. They all stood up yesterday for the national anthem, so they get it. And so now apparently the whipping boy is going to be President Trump. I mean, and that's an easy target. But I guess my question, we know where we are going forward. Where do you see this going, Dave Martin? Do you think we can put a stop to it, or is it out of control?
Well, I don't think first of all, the commissioner, he's a big-time socialist leftist, and he doesn't have the backbone to put a stop to it. Now, some of the NFL owners, and I'm not sure who all, but let's just say Jerry Jones, because he's the one I've seen that's been the most outspoken. He flat out told his players and people that work for him, you show disrespect. He says, your you know what will be on down the road. And I think that if the other owners if they're going to kowtow to these bunch of radicals out there trying to express a political opinion. And see, the political opinion is absolutely wrong, because this all got started with that idiot, the village idiot over there, Colin Kaepernick, who's out of football now. He came out because his girlfriend or little sweetheart or whatever represented that Black Lives Matter, which has been documented. There's books out there. It's not my opinion. You go out there and do the research, your own research. A radical group that hates the cops, that hates really freedom of speech, because it's really just the exact opposite. They want to shut down anybody that doesn't agree with them. But they're a group that talked about killing cops. When do they want to kill them? They want to kill them now. They were highly involved in a protest where they rioted in the streets and tore down businesses and smashed police cars and everything that most law-abiding citizens would never even think of doing. And they endorsed that. So the whole thing is a bigger issue. But the problem is, Tom, is that this is exploding in all aspects of life. And the perfect example was they just had those pathetic Emmy Awards the other night. And you think this would be about entertainment and people in the industry receiving stuff, but it turned into just a 2 or 3 hour bashing of Donald Trump. Yeah. It turned all political, and you even had Dolly Parton, who made me absolutely disgusted, siding with these bunch of radicals. And so it's spread everywhere, and it's ESPN. You can't even turn on ESPN nowadays, and you've got one of the hosts over there, that Jamal Hill or whatever her name is, Jasmine Hill or whatever, coming out and running her mouth about the President of the United States, and people's fed up. And these people don't have a clue what the hell they're talking about when it comes to political stuff, that they're barely able to have a clue what talking. And it's disgusting, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, because American people realize what's going on, that the heart and soul of this country is to stay right now.
That's our buddy Dave Martin again from WLW Radio in Cincinnati. Looks like his phone's kind of cutting in and out on us. Dave, are you still there with us? No, looks like we lost him. But his point was taken. We'll get him back on Friday on the show, and his point was very well taken. And I'm right there with him. And we've got problems in this country. But again, as far as this show, as I said, from here on out, we will give the winners. We did it already once. The winners of the National Football League. Only team I'm going to talk about in depth would be Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, because he told his players. We'll see if it's going to be a backlash. But as the CEO of the company and the guy that writes the check says, you're going to stand with the national anthem if you're playing with this football team, or otherwise you can hit the trail. So we will promote the Cowboys because of that stance. Other than that, nah. Take a quick break, come right back. We'll talk to my man Andy Dietrich's in the house. He's going to kind of wrap up the show. We're going to talk a little high school football. We're going to talk a little college football. We're going to talk a little Andy Dietrich coming up next after the timeout here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
How much longer we got? Where are you going now? I want something. Just give me something. If it's not good for me, I'll eat half of it. You are live right now.
Am I really live?
Yeah. What you're typing there.
As I was typing, I got him on the screen. Good afternoon. We got him. We got to get him on. We had to get Andy Dietrich going. I know TC is. I sent Mr. Copenhaver a text. I guess it was late Saturday night, or was it last night? He went 9 for 10 in the picking panel.
Yeah, he blew me out of the water.
You were 5 for 5. He went 9 for 10. Quite look at him over credit. Quite proud of himself. Let's see who got him. Which one did I tell you didn't get? Mississippi State and Georgia. So.
Well, I win at so many things when he and I compete. This is one thing that I can let him win at. Okay. Just to be nice.
What are some of the things What are some of the things you consistently win at?
Well, horseshoes, horseshoes and hand grenades, paper, rock, scissors, go fish. I mean, really,
you beat him in fish.
Go fish, yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, and horseshoe and hand grenades.
So which means you don't win too much at all. I got you.
Yeah.
So it was a dominating performance by Tim Copenhaver. So, gosh, where do we start? Lots going on in the sports world. Let's start with the Tennessee Vols. They got the Georgia Bulldogs coming Saturday. They got their hands full.
Oh, I'm worried. Butch Jones is. They're probably putting moving trucks in front of his house right now.
You know
what they used to do with Johnny Majors and stuff like that? They would stick for sale signs in his front yard. But I've heard Butch lives in a gated community, so I figured that's probably kind of hard to do. But I would say if he didn't have the gates in his neighborhood, there would be for sale signs.
CBS got a story coming up here I'm going to read before we get out of here. I'm going to go a little over today. It's the 600th show, and we haven't got everything I want to cover yet here. We've got high school and college football coming up, and baseball. We got to get Andy on at the 600th show. They've been kind enough to build this studio inside the showroom. And in fact, we're going to be here 3 times this week. Today,
4.
Regular Thursday. We're going to be here on Friday, too.
4 times of that. Thursday night.
Thursday night, too.
4 times in the champion.
He knows more about my show than
That's what I have to do. Get Tim up to date on everything. That's why he wins. He hears me talking sports all the time, so he knows who to pick.
He's over taking notes.
Yes, he is. So I am such an expert authority on sports.
You think he's hearing you?
No.
He doesn't. He's not.
Sometimes he is.
Yeah. So an expert on sports. He went 5 for 5. Tim went 9 for 10. So anyway, so we are. We're going to be here 4 times this week. Love coming over. Had to get you on the show, and so Cletus did a great job in your absence earlier in the show.
You sure you don't need me to straighten out whatever he said?
Mop it up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure Cletus did a great job. Cletus likes to talk.
I didn't know you guys sold Yugos. That was kind of something.
Yeah, Yugo and
that's where he went.
Daewoo and Peugeot.
Yeah. In fact, they told Cletus that you go get us lunch. Okay, so he's gone. Anyway, we're talking to Andy Dietrich. We are here. It's our 600 show, and Mr. Jones, I would think where I was going with this, CBS Sports, when the sports writer said if he gets hammered by Georgia, there's an open date after that. It'd be a good time to make a coaching change. So it's getting pretty serious down there. But I had some friends went to the ball game. In fact, the people that won the tickets went, loved it. Hadn't been there, and I think they said they hadn't been to a UT game in about 40 years.
Oh, I threw in a little bonus, I think, with that. They got a parking pass. Yes.
Lady called me and said, "Man, thank you. Loved it." So anyway, she's not really a football person per se. She said, "Tom, they're pitiful." Talking about UT, she said, "They are pitiful." I said, "What was the highlight of the game for you, David?" She says, "Well, it was so hot." But she said, "Be honest, the highlight was the Elizabeth and Oak Ridge bands." So they were awesome.
I went to the ETSU football game Saturday, and that was a good game. I think ETSU football would give Tennessee a run for their money right now.
As far as the excitement level,
yes,
sure.
I will be the one that puts that out there.
There you go.
Because I am a sports authority
Yes.
on almost everything.
Tim says he's an athletics supporter. I don't know what that meant. But
Yeah.
I would go with sports authority.
Yes. Yes,
These
I'm
guys-
borderline genius on sports. Everything else way down.
Borderline genius on sports.
I don't know when to come in out of the rain, but when it comes to sports,
you're there.
Oh, I'm
Cutting
in.
edge. Yeah. All right. So is Butch in trouble?
Yes.
Okay. Should he be in trouble?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's him and his whole coaching staff should be in trouble.
Yeah.
It's I think they have some good boys playing, good quarterback, good running back, but some of the play calling and things that Butch doesn't make all the calls. You got the guys up up top, the offensive coordinator and stuff like that, and we're all just scratching our heads. You don't even have to watch any games. You just open up Facebook and just see everything that's going haywire and wrong with that team. And he's on his fourth year? Fifth year. That's plenty of time to either do great or screw it up, and I think he's screwed it up.
Yep. So the heat's on for Mr. Jones, and Georgia's coming to town. They jumped all the way up to number 7 this week in the polls.
It's going to be ugly.
4 notches, and here's the other added side story to this game. If you remember, when last year, 2 years ago, Chubb got hurt. His season-ending injury was against Tennessee. I guess it was down there. And so he's back. Sony Michel's back. You've got Eason back as a quarterback. The freshman, Jake Fromm, in his absence, has done very, very well. They have the Georgia Bulldogs. Here's their track record to this point. App State, 31-10. Notre Dame, 20-19. Samford, 42-14. And then Saturday, they put a smackdown on Mississippi State, 31-3. So Bulldogs are for real. We said here in preseason, I told everybody that forget Florida, forget Tennessee, team you got to watch.
ETSU.
Is Georgia at ETSU. The Bucks. So you were there, and that was a great atmosphere.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, so exciting. It was a good game, the whole game. It wasn't just because this team that they beat on Saturday, 2 years ago, that team beat them 52-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look how far they've come.
It tells you what kind of job Carl Torbush is doing with the team and the recruiting, and so he may be a good candidate down the road a little bit.
Well, he came out of retirement for this. Yeah. I don't know if he would. I don't know if he'd jump into that big a spotlight, but it is next year. ETSU plays at Neyland. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, we released the schedule last week for UT, and one of their games will be the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State next year down in K-Town.
Yeah.
We're talking to my man, of course, Andy Dietrich, co-owner of Champion Chevrolet, along with Tim Copenhaver, and Cletus had a great Saturday. Saturday was wonderful.
Oh yes, it was phenomenal. I had to leave a little bit early, go to the ETSU game, but it's always a pleasant surprise to come in Monday morning and see that many cars sold.
Gone.
So
been busy in here today too.
Yeah, it's been hopping. We've had, other than maybe we had sort of 3 days last month that were sort of just but the rest of this month has just been a rocket ship. It's been really, really good.
Rolling down the highway and rolling downhill. We wrap it up. Let's see, Sunday will be October the 1st. So you've got several days left here in September. What are some of the incentives out there right now?
It's still big money on trucks. We've got $11,000 and $12,000 off, $11,000 on double caps, $12,000 on crew all stars. I've got over $5,000 off on remaining 17 Traverses. We've got
22% off 2017 Impala LTs. We've got $5,000 off on new 2018 Equinoxes. I've got almost 150 used vehicles in stock, and 90% of them are local trade-ins. We had tell a story. We keep telling this. A lot of dealerships go to auctions to supplement their inventory. Had a gentleman in here this weekend looking at a BMW, and he said, "I'd like to talk to the previous owner." I said, "Okay." I printed off the phone number off my computer to the salesperson. My salesperson went into the office, called the customer, and says, "Excuse me, sir, would you mind talking to this gentleman that wants to talk to you about the car that you traded in here?" And he talked to him about it, and he bought it. And so, a lot of places, if they've gone to the auction, you can't call a previous owner.
Exactly.
And so that, he told him about the maintenance he did on it, how well he took care of it, garage kept, all those good things that make you feel good about what you're buying when it comes to a used car. And it pushed him over the edge, and he bought a used BMW new to him.
Customer service is what it's all about here at Champion Chevrolet.
Yes.
That's why they're the #1 Chevy dealer between Mountain City up in northeast Tennessee and Memphis out in West Tennessee, and all Chevrolet dealers in between. Cletus also said when we had him on a few minutes ago that some of the dealers down in Texas and Florida, individuals some, but certainly some dealers have called up and said, "Hey, we need to buy some cars from you because ours have been damaged." So you're moving inventory that way.
Yes,
too.
yeah, we're having a lot of people come in through the internet, with Kristen and stuff like that, getting leads from things down in South, and it's crazy that just how it's picked up, because a lot of dealers' inventories were totally destroyed. And I think we talked last week that between Florida and Texas, almost 1 million vehicles will be totaled because of it, flood damage.
So what do they do with them? I mean, they scrap them for parts?
They scrap them, supposed to cut them in half, seize up the engines, and so somebody could take one of those, drain all the water out, clean out the engine, and try to resell them. But that's where we'll pull auto checks and Carfaxes on everything, and the insurance company gets their hands on it and deems it to be a total loss. That will be automatically reported to Carfax, these reporting agencies. So we check all our inventory against that.
We get the engine part. What about? I was thinking, looking at this car here, the seats. Are those salvageable for cars in the water? No, the mechanical part didn't.
Probably not, because you run the risk of mold and mildew.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of parts when they can sell door panels and things like that. Scrap yards. That's what, everything there at the scrap yard is usually a total loss. So they could part out the vehicle, but you could be brave and take your chances with the seats on it. But carpet and things like that I wouldn't touch. But panels and things like that, electronics you don't want, because of the water and even the moisture. Even if the water didn't get to it, the moisture that sat in that car and humidity would not be good.
Scrap it.
Yep, scrap it. Get rid of it.
Move it on down.
Well, congratulations on your 600th episode.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed earlier.
No, you were out busy. You had things to do. But I said, if there's any place I could go to do my 600th show, because we're inside the Cletus Green Engineered, and Chris Bird was in on this.
Yes, Chris Bird. Yeah, we probably ought to give him credit. Yeah. His feelings were a little hurt.
Inside the studio, inside the showroom here at Champion Chevrolet. So the 17s, we're moving them out. 18s are in. They keep coming in. Now, is there a time frame, and do they come all through November? When do the 18s finally stop coming in?
Well, different models are released. Staggered. Okay. Because they came out with the new body style Equinox, they released it early. So all our 17 Equinoxes are gone, and all we've got out there is 18 Equinoxes. They just released a Traverse 18s cut about 2 months ago, so we're starting to get those in. That's why the big discounts and rebates are over $5,000 off the remaining 17s. The 2500s were released early for some reason. I don't know why. They didn't really change, but we've had 18 2500 3500s coming sooner, and the 1500s not quite yet any day, but we've got 217 Silverado 1500s here on the ground. So I've got plenty with big rebates and discounts. So we do that. So toward the end of the year, if they decide to put more money on them, or when the 18s are more abundant out here on the lot, 18s won't have as much money. So if you come in to look at buying a truck, you're going to go towards the 17 than the 18.
You're not in love with any of them either.
No, gosh, no. They look pretty and they sure are nice, but I'm not in love with any of them.
They look pretty.
But
they got to go.
Yes, they got to go. I like to see them cross that curb and busting bugs. Lots of bugs.
Oh, he's a piece of work. All right, you're back here Thursday. twice on Thursday, again on Fridays.
Yep.
We got 3 more trips
Yep.
in to the Cleveland.
I don't know
Studio.
I don't know if social media can take that much excitement.
I don't know, man. I love it. I love coming here. It's my-
We'll turn up make sure our Wi-Fi is extra heavy duty on those days because of the excitement of building up, having 4 times this week.
Went back and did some research over the weekend on the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. We have actually doubled the numbers since show 1.
That's great.
It's growing. The word's getting out on that too.
Y'all have good stuff to talk about. I mean, there's not really another show around that's like that.
No, we have Chris McCall on too. That's the beauty of it. Chris McCall.
What's it say?
600.
600.
Cletus.
If he had been a good engineer today, he would have had it drop down from the ceiling behind us in confetti and balloons. God, but he didn't do that.
No, with strobe lights and all that. So show. But he said you were the sports. He said he was the sports authority. I said he was the athletic supporter, and so that made him grin.
Woo!
So he went 9 for 10. But you said you beat him in everything else.
Yeah, paper, rock, scissors, horseshoes, hand grenades.
Yeah, so you dominate everything but
yes.
picking football.
And I said he gets his sports knowledge from me because I sit up there and talk about it all day, every day. When it comes time to the picking panel, he knows who to pick. And so I give him this chance to look good and feel good.
He just turned around
to all the viewers.
He just turned around and walked off. He said, I'm not even going to... He said, I'm not even going to rise.
He's giving me that look like that time he threw a stapler at me.
Yeah, I'm glad I got my boots on. Whew. Chris just...
Why do you think they have me on the sports show here?
Chris McCall just doubled over and said, yeah. Woo. He's got a big one Thursday night we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Mr. McCall's going to preview the Hokies and the Tigers. That's going to be a good one. Coming to Lane Stadium. You'll be ready Thursday night, won't you?
Are we doing a pick and panel, or is that Thursday?
That's Thursday.
I'm getting way ahead of myself. I feel like today's Thursday, the day I've had.
When you go 5 for 5, he wants to have a pick and panel today. See,
Yes.
Mr. Copenager went 9 for 10, so
he just got lucky.
He just got lucky.
You noticed he picked the opposite of what I picked, so I did that on purpose.
Well, Cletus won too. Cletus beat you too.
Well, he must have been standing back here listening or something.
Cletus won.
Or he's up there watching on his computer.
Even Cletus beat you this week. So. You guys are hilarious.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I know. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back and do a little high school football, a little college football, and you're going to be back on Thursday.
Yeah, and I'll give you some pointers to talk about when you come back on.
Big games.
Yeah.
How to do this.
Yeah. That's why you've been so successful.
Because of your
input.
Your tutelage.
Yeah, my input.
Your mentorship. Tim Gomez's face is priceless. Whoo! Can you name 6 of the top 10 right now? We've got a $5 bet.
Okay, Clemson.
Wait a minute. Let's see.
Alabama.
That's 2.
6 of the top 10. Georgia.
That's 3. We better take a break. There's smoke coming out of his ears.
Well, that's 3, isn't it? 4.
Yeah. Tim said if you can name 6 out of 10, it's $5. It's an Abraham Lincoln. Is that it?
Sorry, my notes are all up there at the desk.
There you go. His notes right with the desk. That's a classic.
Yeah.
By the way, top 10: Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Penn State, Southern Cal, Washington.
Science Hill's in there, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. They're
ETSU Bucks. Go Bucks.
They're 28th. Yep. Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Wisconsin, the top 10. So there you go.
All right, close.
There you go. All right.
I got more than half of what he made to deal with.
Tim said, "You did him proud." He said, after you got to his first 3, he said, it kind of slid off the ship. All right, take a break. I'll see you next Thursday. We got to get in some high school football, college football, and baseball before we go. Andy Dietrich, Kona Champion Chevrolet Show number 600. We'll be right back after this on the Top Loader Sports Show.
Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Truck Month, Take 2 at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. The savings and selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from are at an all-time high. 1500 All-Star Crew, $11,000 off. 1715 All-Star Double Cab, $10,000 off. 18 Equinox LT, $5,000 off. 17 Traction Traverse, $5,000 off. Shop us online 24/7 and remember our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
I'm Tom Taylor. You are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Sciencefield, all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Athletics. And all you have to do is go right there. Last week, 2 weeks ago, was Tony Briggs, Tracy Clark, Kingsport, Eugene Jefferson, Greenville. Week 4's winner. We'll announce that tomorrow. And again, this is week 5 we're rolling into. Brand new set of games to be picking. And gosh, you've got Clemson, Virginia Tech, you got Tennessee, Georgia, you got Science Hill, Farragut. You got some big football games coming up this week with high school and college. And so we've been encouraging you again to start next weekend with the American League and the National League Divisional Series. So that's what's going on in Major League Baseball, as they're trying to wind it down and determine who's going to be in the bigs as far as the playoffs and into the wild card spots as well. So we'll continue to monitor those each and every day. High school football this weekend. Here we go. Got some big ones around the region. It goes as follows. Alphabetically, Cherokee at Cobb County, Claiborne at Johnson County, Cloudland at Unaka, Cosby at South Green, Daniel Boone on the picking panel will be at Morristown East. Dobbins Minute goes to Bearden. That's on the picking panel this week. Greenville will be at Sullivan Central. That one's going to be a long night for the Cougars, I'm afraid. Hampton at Sullivan North. That's on the picking panel. Jeff County at Hardin Valley. Knox Grace at Happy Valley. North Green will be at West Green. Science Hill, this one's on the picking panel. 2 teams ranked in 6A and Region 1 6A football in the state. Science Hill at Farragut. The polls come out tomorrow, by the way. Sullivan East will be at Granger. Tennessee High at Volunteer. Here's the picking panel game. Unicoi County's kind of turned their season and their program around. They're heading in the right direction. Big game for them Friday night at Chucky Doak. Union County at Sullivan South, and the open dates would include Crockett and Elizabethton. In Virginia, Castlewood at Northwood, East Side at J.I. Burton, Gate City, the Blue Devils play at Ridgeview. Sullivan East, Gate City, Ridgeview. Morristown West will be at Union. Pineville, Kentucky hosting Thomas Walker. The Abington Falcons hosting Wise Central. And in Virginia, Friday, open date, John Battle, Rye Cove, Twin Springs, and Wise Central. Volleyball today, Johnson County at Sullivan Central. Science Hill will be at Dobbins Minute. Sullivan East at Chucky Doak. Sullivan North at Unaka. Unicoi County's Lady Blue Devil volleyball team hosting Sullivan South. And Thomas Walker will be at Union County. And in Southwest Virginia today, J.I. Burton will be in Jenkins, Kentucky for girls high school volleyball there. So it's a busy day as we're winding down the regular season in volleyball. And also, of course, in soccer. Soccer tomorrow, golf today. The Region 1 AAA golf tournament's being played at Morristown Country Club today. So good luck to the teams locally from our region in the golf tournament at Morristown Country Club. Finally, in sports, let's run down the top 25 college football. Who's playing where? Friday night, 14th ranked Miami will be at Duke. Friday night, good one here. Southern Cal, 5th in the country, the Trojans, at 16th ranked Washington State. They're both 4-0. That's a Friday night game. Saturday, chronologically, 12 noon, 10th ranked Wisconsin entertaining Northern Illinois. Also at 12 noon, you have 18th ranked South Florida at East Carolina. 12 o'clock on Friday, the Florida Gators back in Gainesville, hosting the Vanderbilt Commodores at 3-1, 12 o'clock kickoff. 3:30, 4th ranked Penn State hosting Indiana in Penn State, or at Penn State. 3:30, Tennessee hosting the 7th ranked Georgia Bulldogs at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, of course. 17th ranked Louisville home to Murray State at 3:30. 5 o'clock on Saturday. 22nd ranked Notre Dame hosting Miami of Ohio. Here's a good one. 6 o'clock on Saturday evening. 24th ranked Mississippi State at number 13 Auburn, both 3-1. At 7 o'clock on Saturday evening, LSU playing host to Troy. You also have Ohio State playing at Rutgers on Saturday. Here's another biggie at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. It'll be number 2 Clemson at number 12 Virginia Tech. 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday evening. Lane Stadium will be bonkers for that football game. 6th ranked Washington will be at Oregon State. Here's another good one. 15th ranked Oklahoma State. The Cowboys will be in Texas to battle the 3-0 Texas Tech Red Raiders. Oklahoma State 15th in the country at 3-1. Ole Miss will be at Alabama at 9 o'clock on Saturday evening. Top-ranked Alabama hosting the Ole Miss Rebels. And Northern Illinois will be at San Diego State. And that'll be a 19th ranked San Diego State football team at 4-0 hosting Northern Illinois with a record of 2-1. So that would be your games of interest. And so Northwestern, I said earlier, Northern Illinois, it'll be Northwestern playing at Wisconsin on Saturday at 12 o'clock instead of Northern Illinois. I read that wrong. My apologies. So Northwestern at Wisconsin, Northern Illinois at San Diego State. Hey, we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Tomorrow we're going to be at Bracken Paving, our first stop there, one of our great sponsors here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Wednesday, Chick-fil-A. Thursday and Friday back in here on Thursday during the day. Thursday night, the Champion Chevrolet 5-star preview show. And then, of course, Friday we're going to be right back in here as well, hanging out with Tim and Andy and the boys and the ladies on Friday as well. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Show number 600 in the books. We love it. I want to say thanks to Drew Bedard from Bristol Motor Speedway. Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fans reporter, joined us. Also, Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Dave Martin from WLW Radio in Cincinnati. Cletus Green and Andy Dietrich from here in Champion Chevrolet. And the Gator Man from Cherokee Barbershop. Thanks to all these folks that came by and was on the show. It means a lot to me. Show number 600. And I want to say thanks to Champion letting me come over and hang out with them on the 600th show inside the studio, inside the showroom here at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Check them out as you do on the web at championjc.com or stop by and see us here on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile in Johnson City. Until we greet you again tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Bracken Paving in Bluffville under the airport. Be there doing the show. And then on Wednesday, Chick-fil-A, and then Thursday and Friday back here. Until then, this is Tom Taylor telling you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for being around for show number 600, and hang with us for the next 600 here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So long, everybody.